Hey there, and welcome to your private consultation. Today, as your financial mentor, I'm handing you the exact step-by-step roadmap to take you from just financially surviving to achieving true long-term stability. If you feel like you're constantly pushing a heavy boulder up a hill just to get by every single month, well, this explainer is designed to completely change your trajectory. We're going to look at the exact mechanics of building a financial foundation that actually works for you rather than against you.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because an astounding 68% of Americans are currently trapped in the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. And what's absolutely staggering here is that this isn't just a low-income issue. Research shows that a massive chunk of high earners, people making $300,000 to $500,000 a year, are stuck in this exact same loop. This tells us something absolutely vital. Living paycheck to paycheck is a failure of systems, not willpower. Simply increasing your income does not solve the structural problem.
So, here's our exact blueprint for today's explainer. We'll cover escaping the survival trap, building a $20,000 freedom cushion, automating your savings, executing the perfect investment sequence, and finally, letting compounding do the heavy lifting for you.
All right, starting with Section 1, Escaping the Survival Trap. To really kick things off, we have to fundamentally shift our mindset. You know, society often tells us that wealth is what we can physically see, but real wealth is entirely different. Status chasers rely heavily on visible spending. They're the ones driving around in an $80,000 pickup truck, looking incredibly successful on the outside, while their loan balance actually exceeds what the vehicle is even worth. Successful investors, on the other hand, build invisible wealth. They rely on automated systems, quality insurance, and what researchers like to call defensive pessimism. That basically means actively preparing for the worst-case scenarios so they perform significantly better under uncertainty. Real wealth is the cars you didn't purchase and the upgrades you declined.
Because here's the harsh truth. When you're trapped near zero, the system actually penalizes you with what's called the poverty premium. This is the hidden cost of static stability. Just think about these numbers for a second. In 2022, U.S. financial institutions collected a staggering $9.9 billion in overdraft fees. $9.9 billion! Those aren't investment losses, just outrageous fees for slipping a few dollars below zero. Plus, without a cash buffer, you can't buy in bulk, right? Meaning you might end up paying $4.50 for just 4 rolls of paper towels at a convenience store instead of a fraction of that at Costco. And you're stuck paying insurance premiums monthly, which easily cost 10 to 15% more than if you just made an annual upfront payment. Being broke is, ironically, incredibly expensive.
Which brings us to Section 2, the $20,000 freedom cushion. Let's look at the inflection point where financial gravity finally stops working against you and actually starts pulling for you. That magic point is $20,000. This specific number is the threshold where your entire psychology fundamentally shifts. According to Vanguard, just having $2,000 saved increases your financial happiness by 21%. But when you reach 3 to 6 months of living expenses, which is around $20,000 for most Americans, your brain completely moves out of survival mode. You stop waking up asking, how do I survive this month? And you finally start asking, what do I want to build?
So the crucial takeaway here is that this cushion gives you optionality. Imagine walking into a performance review where you know your evaluation is totally inaccurate. Without a financial cushion, you just kind of nod and accept it, right? Because you're terrified of losing your job and your health insurance. But with a $20,000 cushion, you can calmly present your evidence and negotiate a higher salary. You do this not with angry threats, but with the quiet confidence of someone who is sitting in that chair by choice, not out of absolute desperation. Optionality is literally one of the highest-yielding assets your financial plan can ever produce.
Okay, so once you hit that 20 grand, how do you deploy it efficiently? Well, here is the exact breakdown to turn you from a consumer into a serious market participant. First, $8,000 goes straight into a high-yield savings account, earning around 4 to 4.5%. This is fully liquid for real emergencies. Next, $7,000 fully funds a Roth IRA, invested in a broad market index fund so it grows completely tax-free. Then, $3,000 goes into a taxable brokerage account to act as a flexible bridge. And finally, you leave $2,000 permanently in your checking account. This is your new floor. It completely eliminates those overdraft fees we talked about and gets rid of that persistent low-level financial stress that comes with anxiously checking your balance every Friday.
Moving right along to Section 3, automating savings.
To actually achieve that freedom cushion, we have to remove the burden of daily discipline entirely. You can't simply intend to save whatever happens to be left over at the end of the month because, let's be honest, the end of the month always arrives with absolutely nothing left. Instead, here are 3 specific steps to start right today. 1. Open a high-yield savings account. 2. Set up auto transfers for the exact day you get paid. The money literally must leave your checking account before you even have a chance to look at it, way before the impulses of Friday night take over. And 3. Just let your lifestyle adjust. Just like you adapted to living on your net income after taxes rather than your gross salary, your lifestyle is going to naturally adjust to this new, slightly smaller remainder.
All right, Section 4, the investment sequence.
Now, with your savings automated, every single dollar you invest must be deployed in a strict mathematical order that maximizes your returns and minimizes your taxes. Skipping the foundation to buy trendy stocks is kind of like installing expensive granite countertops in a house with a cracked foundation. It doesn't make sense. First, you secure that emergency fund. Second, you aggressively attack high-interest debt. Look, investing while carrying 22% credit card debt is literally like trying to run a marathon with a backpack full of rocks. Paying it off guarantees you a massive 22% return. Third, capture your full employer match. That is literally free money, folks, often a guaranteed 100% immediate return on your investment. Only after all that do you move on to maxing out your tax-advantaged accounts.
And a really crucial part of this sequence is the Health Savings Account, or HSA. It is perhaps the absolute most powerful, yet underutilized, secret weapon in all of finance. If you have a high-deductible health plan, the HSA gives you a triple tax advantage. Let that sink in. It's tax-deductible on the way in, it grows tax-free, and it comes out completely tax-free when used for medical expenses. Because healthcare is one of retirement's biggest financial risks, often costing couples over $300,000, an HSA can essentially make those massive costs just disappear from your retirement budget entirely.
And finally, Section 5, the power of compounding.
This right here is the long game, where early, steady commitment becomes genuinely life-changing. Just think about this progression. If you start from zero and save $500 a month at an 8% return, it takes a grueling 40 months to push the boulder up the hill to your first $20,000. It feels incredibly slow. But because of compounding returns, where your money actually starts generating its own returns, that second $20,000 takes only 26 months. Financial gravity has officially switched sides.
You see, your net worth doesn't grow in a straight line. It grows like a snowball rolling down a mountain, picking up speed and size. By the time you reach higher milestones, like a $400,000 portfolio, those investments generate that exact same $20,000 automatically in just 5 months. The heavy lifting is now being done entirely by your money, not your labor.
So you now have the exact blueprint to secure your financial freedom. You know the sequence, the extreme importance of that $20,000 cushion, and the absolute necessity of automation. The roadmap is right there in your hands. So the only question left for us today is, will you start automating your future right now? Take action this week, and decades from now, you will absolutely be thanking yourself.